What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Polestar. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and where I see things going from here. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Polestar did go up 4.57% on Friday, piggybacking off of the broader market's optimism. $1.72 the low, $1.87 the high. Kind of low volume, so 7.7 million shares being traded, 12.2 is the average. So that's one thing that has been happening. It's a little bit lower volume, and that it's being stemmed from this right here. So big money essentially isn't buying Polestar to the same degree they were roughly 2 weeks ago. So there's certain hesitations that is happening. Luckily enough for Polestar, majority of the volume that is coming, not just to Polestar, but pretty much to the broader market, is linked to algorithmic trading. And you can kind of tell that based on a lot of the barcoding that does happen throughout the day for Polestar. So that's just algos kind of trading back and forth among each other. So luckily enough, the algos have been very, very optimistic. And so essentially Polestar has been really propelling higher because of that. So again, nothing really wrong with that. Stock going up is a stock going up. I don't think it matters all that much. But with that being said, once I go over the technicals, there's something just to kind of keep in mind. But Polestar over the last 1 month, for instance, is up 70.56%. So of course, there is going to be some hesitation coming from institutions and whatever else. Monday is going to be the last trading day in Q3. So of course, you will see some entities really rebalancing their portfolios with Polestar, and most likely the greater part of last quarter, Polestar did outperform the broader market, so you won't really see a massive amount of buying, again, only because on a quarter-over-quarter basis, Polestar didn't do all that bad. So yeah, something to kind of consider. Last news that did come out was this right here. So it looks like they did enter into a strategic collaboration, and so yeah, I think this is good. It's a lot better if Polestar was to really ramp up on a significant level. So maybe this might be a precursor for what is coming for Polestar operationally. But this company is huge. As you can kind of see, it does have a 94.34 billion market cap. It's a beast. It is based out of India, and it kind of mentions that as well in this document right here. But aside from that, though, the only negative point that I wanted to bring up is that it doesn't actually, yes, it looks like they house it, software development, but it's not new technology. And based on this news right here, the market didn't really like it all that much. You can kind of tell it did cause it to go down 1.72%. Again, that also could be profit taking from the 12 plus green day the day prior, but still, it is what it is, right? It'd be more advantageous if Polestar did like 10x of the volume for production. Then this would make a little bit more sense. But like I said, with the new CEO, maybe they are forecasting already like a significant ramp up. So I think this upcoming earnings is going to be a very, very fun one. It hasn't been disclosed yet, but I think it is estimated for November the 8th. And these are the, I guess, tentative estimates right now. So negative 15 cents for the earnings per share, 791.5 million for the revenue. And over the last 90 days, there has been one positive and one negative revision to the earnings per share. So yeah, honestly, that one will be a must listen to earnings if you are a investor or even if you are curious about Polestar. Aside from that, no actual new analyst ratings, no articles, nothing really coming out associated to Polestar to really move the price higher. Just I think a lot of people are just looking at the PS ratio and just seeing it still at a pretty deep discount. Shorts, on the other hand, have been somewhat increasing. So 270,000 shares were increased on Friday. 37.27 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is fairly high, so 99.79%. Short score is 85.77, and then utilization is 96.4. So all in all, Polestar isn't a squeeze play just for transparency purposes, but it's good to analyze what shorts are doing, and shorts have been really increasing over the last little bit because they probably feel this recent run up of 70+% just in the last 1 month 25% just in the last week alone is unjustified. So again, you're going to have a lot of give and take, but the technicals and a lot of the other data points I'm going to go over in a second are all looking pretty a-okay. And starting off with options, 155,000 in calls, 42,000 in puts. Polestar's never really had a huge, immense amount of volume getting in through options, only because they have only monthly options, right? It's not popular enough. Hopefully that will change, at least in the next couple quarters. But 57% of all the options being done on Friday were optimistic and bullish. And a lot of that was kind of assuming that it was going to be around that $2 range, possibly. And you oddly saw this right here. So for the January 17th, 2025, for it to be around that $7 range. That one's more of a lottery ticket in my opinion, but you know what? If it hits, that whoever did that is going to be rich as hell. Looking at puts though, you're not really seeing all that much. You're seeing some consensus for it to be sub like $1, but very, very little volume. So I think a lot of people are just assuming there is still a lot more upside to do with Polestar than down. Something, again, just to keep in mind, with it at $1.83, with it closing on Friday, it is right above this R1. So $1.82 is going to be that pivot that you'll really want to watch for Polestar to hold. Aside from that, $1.64 will be the strong support. It wasn't really tested at all on Friday, so kind of a good thing. Flip side, $1.93 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. And given the market momentum right now, I feel like there will be a strong likelihood of this being touched, or potentially even that $2 range. But going over to the actual chart itself, it is looking pretty good. So this is a very good example of what happens when you bounce off of a very strong support point and then it trends higher. So this is a perfect V. So in theory, assuming nothing really on a macro level really causes some disruption, you will see a nice continuation, and that will just be pushed higher because of algos. Eventually, you'll see big money starting to realize that Polestar isn't slowing down, and they'll have to jump on board. But essentially, it could definitely continue to run up based on a lot of the support and resistance points that I did mention. Because of this consolidation that did happen kind of right here between, looks like the 17th and the 23rd, that did reset the technicals. So right now it is at 65-ish. So arguably still neutral, somewhat overbought-ish, but not to the same regard it was for this kind of period. But you do see a bullish deviation, white line above the red. And number of retail investors have been kind of in and out. Still, it is above zero. So generally still getting more buyers than what you're losing, but they have been, it looks like, kind of selling out a little bit. So if you have been one of those entities or individuals selling out of Polestar, why? Are you feeling that it's just ran up? Are you taking profits? Or do you think that there's going to be more downside coming? But based on a lot of the data points that I have been mentioning, everything seems to be somewhat bullish, with exception of shorts increasing. That obviously kind of shows that they don't really believe in the validity of it going up. But all in all, I think Polestar is starting to lay the foundation for something very good, and that is resemblant based on this news right here. So let me know your thoughts on Polestar. Give yourself a shout out, like I said, if you've been buying, selling, holding. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. You do have 2 days left to take advantage of this. It gives you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. With that said though, appreciate all of you guys watching.